Castillo's former wife re-enters his life and brings a whole lot of trouble with her on today's Miami Vice. Heart of Night was directed by Paul Krasny and written by James Beckett, and I'm just going to say up front, after the tremendous high the series has been riding on with the past 4 episodes, this one's disappointing. We open in Ecuador, where Castillo's Thai-born wife, Mei Ying, introduced way back in Season 1's Golden Triangle and not mentioned since, and her current husband, Ma Sek, attend a fancy gala. Mei Ying, who was played by Joan Chen back in Golden Triangle, is now played by Rosalind Chao, well known for playing Keiko O'Brien on Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Ma Sek was played by Glenn Kubota back in Golden Triangle. He's now played by Altered Carbon's James Saito, who played a totally different character in Golden Triangle. All of this is a little confusing, and mostly it kind of makes me wish I were watching Golden Triangle, which is a better episode than this one. Ma Sek panics when he spots a drug lord named Rivas, played by Bob Gunton. He drags Mei Ying out of the gala, and they speed off. While Blood Money by the Church plays, armed thugs pop up from the back seat. They drag Ma Sek out of the car and try to rape Mei Ying, but she manages to run over one of her attackers and rescue her husband. Back in Miami, Crockett is trying his best to return to work after his murderous escapades as Sonny Burnett, but Castillo sends him home because he's being investigated for, multiple homicides. Crockett seems vaguely surprised to realize that I have amnesia is not an acceptable defense. Also, Crockett has discovered blue jeans. Pretty sure this is the first instance in the entire series that we've seen him dressed in denim. Castillo returns to his home to find a distraught Mei Ying. She and her husband took separate flights to Miami due to safety concerns. She's supposed to meet up with him later. Mei Ying drops the bombshell that her young son died in a car accident, and she and her husband have become increasingly estranged as a result. Castillo and Mei Ying meet Ma Sek in a hotel lobby. Ma Sek explains that his employer wanted him to deliver a package to Rivas, and Rivas is upset because the package didn't contain what he expected. Armed goons ambush them in the lobby. Castillo manages to kill one of the gunmen and protect Mei Ying, but Ma Sek disappears. The dead gunman is one of Rivas's henchmen. While Vice tries to track down Rivas, Castillo visits Ma Sek's employer, a man named Malcolm Gray, played by Michael Lombard, whom Castillo knows from his days working in the Golden Triangle. Malcolm runs a shipping company, though he's also clearly with the CIA. Castillo leaves Mei Ying at his home with Trudy to watch over her. Mei Ying gets a phone call from her husband, and she steals Trudy's car and takes off to the strains of The Kiss by The Cure. She's ambushed by Rivas's goons and taken to his mansion, where they beat her and threaten to kill her unless she tells them where they can find her husband. It's strongly implied they rape her as well, after which she gives them the address of a warehouse. Enraged over Mei Ying's kidnapping, Castillo intimidates Malcolm Gray into giving him the address of his warehouse. Ma Sek, who is with the CIA, has dinner with Malcolm Gray and another agent, whereupon he admits he stole a whole lot of money from Rivas. He poisons the wine glasses of Malcolm and the other agent, and when they drink a toast, they die. For some damn fool reason, we see a hazy flashback to Ma Sek chemically treating the wine glasses with poison, and when the agents drink, everything goes in black and white and plays out in slow motion. I like offbeat stylistic flourishes, even when they don't quite work as well as intended, but this just comes across as really clumsy. Rivas and his goons take Mei Ying to the warehouse. Ma Sek is nowhere in sight, but they find a package that they think will contain the money Ma Sek stole from Rivas. Instead, it contains a bomb, which explodes when they open it. Vice storms the warehouse and arrests everyone. Castillo explains to a distraught Mei Ying that her husband told her a fake meeting location, knowing she'd be captured and tortured by Rivas and thus would unintentionally lead them into a trap. Vice manages to track down Ma Sek before he can board a ship bound for the Bahamas with his stolen money. Mei Ying confronts her husband to get him to confess to his misdeeds. He notices she's wearing a wire and tries to strangle her, but Castillo rushes to her rescue. Castillo and Ma Sek have a pretty good martial arts battle, which is honestly the best part of this episode, and Castillo reigns victorious. Castillo and Mei Ying stand by the water, and while Dark Truths by Joan Armatrading plays, they confess their great love for each other, and then Mei Ying leaves Castillo standing alone on the pier. This is a well-intentioned but awkward episode, and nothing sums up that awkwardness more than the last lines of dialogue. Mei Ying tells Castillo, "I love you, my husband," and Castillo replies, "And I you, my wife." I get what the script was trying to do, with establishing that Castillo and Mei Ying have an oddly formal and maybe even a little mythical romance. And I think that's a good idea. However, as skilled of an actor as Edward James Olmos is, and as good as Rosalind Chao has been in films like Joy Luck Club, neither of them managed to make those lines of dialogue work, and the episode ends with a thud. The script is riddled with little problematic beats like that, and the villains are drawn too broadly. There's nothing we saw about Ma Sek back in Golden Triangle to suggest he'd eventually become a one-note Snidely Whiplash villain. Also, the star-crossed romance between Mei Ying and Castillo falls a little flat this time around. Castillo, who is a great, legendary character, gets one big showcase episode per season. Season 1 has Golden Triangle, Season 2 has Bushido, Season 3 has Duty and Honor, and Season 4 had Rising Sun of Death. Golden Triangle and Bushido are solid 5 Flamingo episodes, and I gave 4 strong Flamingos to both Duty and Honor and Rising Sun of Death. This one, I'm going to have to go with 2 Flamingos. It's a shame. I want to like it more than I do because Castillo is the greatest, but this episode doesn't do him justice. Next time, Crockett takes some much-needed time off and runs into a whole heap of trouble. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope to see you back here then, and have a great week.